You look like at that. You look like at that. Okay, you.
Because my background is so shitty.
You're pretty wide. Like,
Yeah, go in a little tighter.
and that's with this. Yeah.
All right.
I keep wanting to move this to move where you are, but I think that's good.
All right, let's clap it in. 3, 2, 1.
There it is.
Read all about it.
Oh my God, it starts that
Read
quickly.
all about it in the same room.
Jeepers. Okay.
Extra, extra. Sunday papers. Coming here from the same office. It's been a long time. I'm used to looking at the screen, and now I'm looking at you.
It's weird.
Yeah.
We were on the beach yesterday looking at each other.
Yeah.
In like a Dave and Steve's gay vacation.
Well, what was funny is we were meeting on the beach, and I got there about 10 minutes before you, and I just had, there was 2 spots to sit. One of them had 7 10th graders, girls, and I thought, all right, that's a bad optic. And so instead I went to next to the lifeguard chair where there were 3 other men older than me who were all at the beach alone, and with varying degrees of the bald head with the man bun in the back.
One guy like looked very, he had a Speedo maybe, a European. He looked dead asleep.
Yeah, there was, that made me feel really old and kind of made me have a vision of what the future holds, where you just go to the beach alone.
So I saw that vision for you because I came up and I was finishing a phone call and then I saw you. So I got to just watch you alone for a little while before you saw me.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating.
Yeah. But we went in the ocean. We got very worried because there's been a lot of stingrays attacks.
Yes, because the warm water has arrived. Even though it said it was 69, but it felt much warmer. And Sophie, my daughter, was down at the beach and she said she saw like 2 feet in the hot water in front of the lifeguard stands, which is what the lifeguards do for people when they get stung.
Yeah.
You've been stung.
I've never been stung.
I was stung. It can really hurt. I think I got lucky, but the guy goes, I can get you hot water. It's like, they have to drive it down here. He goes, but do you live nearby? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, if you can hobble home, that would be better because our hot water is not hot enough. He goes, you have to put it in the hottest water you can stand.
Really?
And he goes, which means you're going to be constantly adding hot water to it.
Owen got stung so bad that 5 days later, he finally went to the doctor because it was like swollen. He couldn't walk on it.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of the stinger was in his foot.
It's
so
like
they
glass.
had to remove that. Yeah, it was like glass.
I remember that with him.
Yeah. And they say the way to not get stung is shuffle your feet instead of stepping down. So we were both shuffling around.
So then the 2 of us on our gay vacation go into the water, and then we're doing this. We're literally, for the listeners, shimmying. Our shoulders are shaking because we're shuffling our feet along the sand.
And you're floating on your back because you don't want your feet to touch the ground. You look like an old lady at Atlantic City.
Okay, the only reason I did that is because I'm going backcountry camping tomorrow. And if I got stung, that's over.
That's it. Trip's over.
Absolutely not.
And then you got worried that your shoulders were going to get sunburned and you'd have a hard time carrying your little pack.
We were in there forever, and I'm like, if I get, all right, first of all, I can't wait till you come back. It's, here, this is a selling point. You got to come with us. It's miserable.
Yeah, it sounds like it. No, I want to do it, though. I know it's miserable, but I'm
at
up for
least, I'd say at least 50 pounds on your back. And then, the altitude is, I'd say, the second biggest factor. Well, no, second biggest factor is the incline and then the altitude.
Yeah.
So it's 3 of them are just beating down on you.
Does it get cold at night?
So me and this guy who has to remain anonymous for a few, but anyway, are going. And a friend of ours.
Wait, explain why he's anonymous.
Well, I can't.
Yes, you can, because you're not saying his name.
He doesn't want his friends to know because this was like a last minute thing, which it truly was. And we were lucky to get a permit, and permits for 2 people.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're deciding between the left side of the Sierras and the right side of the Sierras. The left side has the more popular entrances to Sequoia, Yellowstone's over there, for instance, and all of that stuff. But Whitney's on the right side, on the east side. But it's much higher. It's a all the redwoods, all that stuff are on the left side, on the west side. The right side, it's more like you're going up rock, and we're parking the car at 10,000 feet to avoid the heat.
And then
20 degrees cooler.
Is there water to swim in when you get there?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if we're allowed, but I think so. But I'm doing it anyway, no matter what.
Yeah.
And there's golden trout. In fact, it's the Cottonwood Lakes district, but it's right on the border of what's called the golden trout area of the Sierras.
And is that just beyond the Brokeback Mountain camping site that you guys will be
No,
in?
we're right in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
Except this won't be Brokeback because we're looking to get some strange. So we're splitting up.
Do you share a tent?
No.
Why wouldn't you share a tent? Wouldn't that be less to carry?
No, because one person would have to carry that bigger tent. We each got a light tent on our back.
How heavy is the pack?
Between 50 and 60, but I'm trying to get
shit.
I'm trying to get it lower.
Damn.
And the technology is amazing.
Yeah.
Now. Like you used to have to boil water, like none of that. Now you just literally scoop it up, put the top on, the top as a filter in it, and it gets 99.9% of the bacteria.
Wow.
So that's amazing. And this year there's going to be water running. It will never stop running.
Yeah.
In fact, it's still going to be a problem. Oh, and Olivia just went up to June Lake, and there's still snow everywhere.
Yeah. June Lake is nice.
Yeah. But still, like where we're going, so we read reports. Any last thing I will say about it, we read reports, and a guy went to the hike we're doing the 12th of July, so 2 weeks ago, and he goes, 2 of the 5 lakes are still frozen.
Wow. No shit.
Can you imagine?
Damn.
Yeah.
Bear?
There are bear. And we have to, and by law, you have to bring your bear canister.
A spray.
Too big. No. This is a container that holds all your food and your food wrappers. So it also holds your garbage as it's going on.
Yeah.
And then at night, you twist it tight. And I can barely get into it. It's ridiculous how hard it is to get into it. And then you're supposed to put it like 30 feet away from your tent.
And hang it from a tree limb, right?
No, you don't even have to hang it.
Hmm.
You just leave it there.
Wow.
But a lot of campers talk about hearing the bear trying to break that fucking thing open.
No shit.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Snakes?
Rattlers, but they're mostly lower. They're only going to be in fact, no snakes because we're parking at 10,000 feet.
And snakes don't go that high.
And we're going to we might do this one summit, which is called one of the 14. It's in the 14,000 club. It's 14,200 or 100. Whitney, which is the tallest mountain in the lower 48, is 14,550, I think. This is a few hundred feet below that. So we might go to that, but we're probably going to sleep at around between 11 and a half and 12. So not that big of a hike up this time, which is great.
Well, plus you're drinking your own urine, which gives you enzymes and electrolytes.
You just have to forget that it's your urine and look at it as Gatorade.
Now, what's going on with Kevin Brennan? I think we talked about him last week. I honestly don't remember. I know we talked about it. We don't remember what we said.
It wasn't even bad. I told the Wawa story where he was going to apply.
Oh, right.
Where he's always quitting the business and everything.
Yeah.
So, and I can guarantee you he doesn't listen to this podcast. But on Monday, I get this voicemail. I don't even remember the last time we texted or talked. And then this comes in.
Keep my name out of your motherfucking mouth.
And that's all she wrote. I wish his jokes were that pithy.
I know, it's perfect.
I wish his jokes were that tight.
Fucking Kevin. So anyway, then I get something.
Kevin's hysterical, for the record.
We love Kevin.
And by for the record, the Kevin Army doesn't have to tell him, and so I don't get another voicemail like that.
No, Kevin was with me the night I asked out my wife for the first time. I had met her, and then I knew that she was working downtown at like some film showing, a screening of a film that she'd worked on because she used to work in production. And she was like taking the ticket. So he went from the Upper East Side all the way down to Soho with me to go and ask her out. and I'll always appreciate him for that. But then somebody wrote.
No, he was so much fun. We used to hang out all the time in New York.
So he wrote, or somebody else wrote. Where is it? Oh, it's the Insufferable Bastards podcast. Is that what it's called?
I mean, I think that title works. I don't know, though.
So somebody wrote Mike Buschetti coming out hot against Greg Fitzsimmons on MLC podcast. Is that Brennan, MLC?
I don't know.
And so I wrote, I doubt that. I always like Mike. Yeah. So now there's people tweeting. But yeah, who cares?
They like me?
I guess so. I guess it was me. I guess I'm the bad guy. I don't remember saying
Maybe.
anything bad about Kevin, but well, that's it. I got to go to
Oh,
Team
yeah,
Neil.
yeah. Sorry, of course. Misery Loves Company. I was trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to do it in my head. I couldn't remember it. Yes, Misery Loves Company.
Yeah.
Brennan Loves Misery. That should really be the title of the podcast.
The auction item, as you guys know, Kit Boss, a great writer, set up. He's doing an auction to raise money for below the line people. This isn't for writers. Everybody's like, writers make so much money. First of all, they don't. Second of all, this auction is set up for all the other ancillary jobs that are being lost by the strike. Camera guys, grips, gaffers. I don't know how low down it goes, but I don't know if PAs get money, but maybe. So anyway, if you want to bid on a foursome, it's going to be Fitzsimmons, Fitzgibbons, Gibbons, and Gubbins, and you at the Penmar by the Sea for a round of golf on us, as well as lunch on us and some swag. Didn't we say we're going to put together a whole bunch of swag?
Wait, you said what it's up to?
Yeah, it's up to $460 now.
I can't believe. And you
it started at $100.
You know a fan of yours who is also bidding?
There's a fan from Florida who I guess will fly in if he wins, which would be exciting.
It seems like, I brought this up before. I hate, in many ways, I hate auctions to raise money because you leave so much money on the table.
Yeah.
It's not like a raffle where you keep all the money and you can buy as many tickets as you want. So it's like, should we offer a second? I guess that would hurt the first place guy.
Well, maybe no. I think there's one winner, and then if we want to do another one, the strike's going to be going on until October. So this will be the first foursome. And yeah, and the guy from Florida is a guy who actually took me golfing a couple times, 2, maybe 3 times in Florida. Whenever I'm playing there, he'll travel like 3 hours and come see me and take me for a round of golf. Great dude.
DeSantis, strong.
So if you want to go and bid, go to fitzdog.com or gregfitzsimmons.com, and you'll see a link on my homepage, and you can. It's pretty easy to sign up and start bidding. Great cause, get involved. This week's logo, outstanding. Robert Leon did an Oppenheimer.
Are you the woman again, or are you what's that hat?
I believe we're both gentlemen. I have a hat
you have a
on.
necktie. You have a necktie.
Yeah, we both have on neckties.
I haven't seen this poster. Okay.
Unless it's like a Paige, what's her name kind of thing.
No, I see the woman behind him. All right, great.
You haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
I have not seen Oppenheimer nor Barbie.
I would like to see both. I want to see Barbie first, actually, because the thing I heard about Oppenheimer is that it's hard to understand what they're saying because there's like a lot of, explosions and background noise, and I have shitty hearing. I need it to be clear. So I'm thinking of waiting until it's on TV so I can put on the chyrons. Is that really old man?
Of course it's old man, but more, oh my God, I got to read.
But then people say you want to see it on the big screen.
I've heard you try to get to the biggest screen you can.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, wait, you just brought up old man. So we talked about our friend Dan Brickner last week, and you went to go see Dan, and we talked about him on the podcast. Dan and I were texting today. So Dan then goes, where Fitz does it just out of nowhere. Fitz doesn't like to walk, eats like a girl, wears a hoodie in 95-degree heat, doesn't like the rain, goes public with my one cigarette on the golf course. And he noticed when we didn't stand, he and his wife, in the banquet room of an old Holiday Inn.
Wow.
Oh, hold on.
Came back hard.
Next text. Immediately a minute later. And told my wife we spent 3 days snorting crank freshman year. That's perfect.
Oh, Jesus. Why does anybody hang out with me? Even my own mother got mad at me recently for something I said. I gotta not talk about anybody anymore. And now Kevin Brennan's will be in his crosshairs.
Oh, yeah. Kevin
Which,
shares
first of
a
all-
little. They're from the Philly region. Brickner, very quick to point out, not from Philly, from Jersey, but in a Philly suburb. And the Brennans, famously from Philly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you got some Philly anger coming your way.
Well, you hate Philly. I'm the one that's always defending Philly.
Well, and why would you? Look at them. They hate. They're haters.
Me. They hate me. The song this week is from, I don't know how you pronounce this, but Flishtree JS, FLSHTRIJS. He did that song, and there's a small chance he died while making it.
That was passionate.
He put everything into
I
that.
liked it a lot.
That was the Sinead O'Connor of theme songs.
Do you happen to have air conditioning here?
Are you hot?
A little bit.
No, this office is nice and cool until around 4 o'clock, and then the afternoon sun beats on these windows.
All right.
I know.
I'm going to be sweating my ass off tomorrow, so I figured maybe one less day of sweating. All right, we're going to do it.
All right, corrections this week. A bunch of people wrote in with this one. When referring to Mel Brooks' greatest film ever, History of the World Part 1, I don't know about that. How do you put that as... it is up there, but you...
No way. It's not even top 3 or 2, right?
No, it's not top 2. You got Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You got
Blazing
High
Saddles.
Anxiety, Blazing Saddles.
That's not even top 4, maybe.
The
yeah.
Producers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's still a great, hilarious, joke-filled movie. Anyway, you botched the B. Arthur line. It is as follows. She says, next, occupation. He says, stand-up philosopher. What? Stand-up philosopher. I coalesce the vapor of human experience into a viable and logical comprehension. Oh, a bullshit artist. Did you bullshit last week? No. Did you try to bullshit last week? Yes.
That's good.
Gabrielle Gentile, thank you for sending that in. Tiffany said, I was listening to the pod and you mentioned there were no more crooners left. Paul Anka should not be forgotten in this
Good
group.
point.
He is still performing. He wrote My Way for Frank Sinatra, for God's sake. Also, I am from Ottawa, Canada, and he is from here, so he's on my radar. So my apologies to the great Paul Anka.
Yeah, no, Anka's pretty great.
He wrote Put Your Head on My Shoulder.
All right.
That was his song. I Love You, Baby. I Love You,
Yeah.
Baby. Puppy Love.
Was he the one of the crooners, like in the, I hate to say it this way, but like the tier under Sinatra, if we're being real, under that tier, it might have been Paul Anka. They wrote a book, and they were also on Stern and gave a great interview, and it was about like how Sinatra would shoot holes in the Hilton wall, and yeah. So I think it was. I wanna check that. But apparently it was this real, very honest book and very cool.
Also, Donovan S. says, I can agree with you guys in that Rocket Man is definitely a copy of Space Oddity. Both songs are essentially analogies for drug addiction. Rocket Man has also some gay overtones about drug addiction. David Bowie even states in another song, Ashes to Ashes, Funk to Funky, we know Major Tom's a junkie. Rocket Man draws analogies such as Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids, meaning that a gay lifestyle and drug addiction and partying are no place to raise a kid. I can agree Space Oddity is the better song for sure, but Mike's critique made it sound as if he did not understand that both songs are just analogies.
All right, 2 reactions. One, I don't think it is. Didn't you say it was based on like the book and the whole point was the everydayness about space travel in the future?
Yeah, somebody pointed out that it was based on the book, and that in the future it'll just be like a day job to go to space, and you'll be home that night.
And secondly, oh my God, if he also tried to lift the theme, the sort of metaphor also,
Right.
that's even worse.
Right.
Right now, it's better that he's just a creatively bankrupt writer who didn't even think to steal depth from the previous song. And the last thing I'll say is David Bowie, there's 3 songs. They say there's a little bit of a trilogy about Major Tom. So the Ashes to Ashes, that one he pointed out. And then there's another one called Space Boy. And in Space Boy, it's like, you're getting sleepy, like that's the opening line. In other words, it's when he's running out of oxygen.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're getting sleepy. And it's like, and one of the lines is, do you like boys or girls? And that's one of the lines in there.
Okay.
Which is toying with, is that theme in there or not?
Yeah.
So, anyway, good letter, though. Good letter, Donovan.
Yeah, Scary Monsters was a great album. That's what that was from. And then we got tour dates coming up. Very exciting. I'm going to Ireland next week, August 6th. August 6th, I will be in Galway.
Wow.
Performing at a club, some comedy club.
You should see if Tom Kelly, our friend, is over there.
Oh.
I could look into that.
Okay. Tom O'Neill's sister, I believe, I might be confused, is going to be over there. It might be Dimples Liz's family is over there. Also, dates coming up. I'm going to take the summer off, as I almost always do, and then I'll be back in the fall in New Hampshire.
Oh, man, I wonder if they'll have a service for Sinead in Dublin.
Right.
Imagine if they had some public thing or just a concert.
Well, Galway's actually
they've got a celebrator there.
Yeah, I mean Galway's the music capital of Ireland, even though she's from Dublin.
Are you only going to be on the West Coast?
Just going to be in Galway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, dates coming up: New Hampshire, Sacramento, D.C., Houston in the fall. Just actually adding a few more dates. We're confirming now. And then we want to talk to you about our very good, for speaking of going to see live performances, Game Time. I mean, how great is Game Time?
How much is Game Time? I'm going to love this Gibbons reference. Right before I headed over here, I get a text. What is it? Where should I get the tickets? I'm like, Game Time. He's like, right, of course. And then he wanted to know the discount code because he's looking it up right now.
Everybody that I know that knows we do this read has been texting me about what's the company. It's Game Time. Game Time. Don't forget it. You can go see sports. You can see theater.
Like
you
it's
can
a
see
Game
music.
Time decision.
Yes, that's the point. You wait. You can wait. You don't have to stress out. Am I buy? Should I buy them now, or the price is going to go up? Are they going to go down? They're going to go down. They have killer last minute deals, flash deals. They have tickets of every kind. They have seat views from where your seats will be. The app is so easy. We've used it several times, and it's like, boom, couple clicks with your thumb, and you've got it in the app. You don't have to print it. You don't have to transfer it. It's all there. Lowest price guarantee.
Look at this. Next Thursday, Los Angeles Angels, $2.
Wow.
And that's like, and it sounds like it might even drop. Oh my God, the Sparks. You'll never guess how much.
The WNBA Sparks?
On Sunday.
$25.
Good instinct.
$15.
That's like a 7 times increase of what they're usually at.
So maybe lay off WNBA for a week. Sounds like it's really spiking. But otherwise, get on Game Time. And the website is gametime.co. But really you want to use the app. And then they've also got
all these concerts, and then you see comedians. Bryan Adams, $18. We've talked about how many hits that motherfucker has.
Yep.
Styx tomorrow, $44.
Wow.
Oh, Ween at the Greek. That's going to be great. $34.
Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PAPERS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PAPERS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also, if you're going to be using your phone or your computer, you can use a thing called ExpressVPN. It's
amazing.
It is amazing, and it is a VPN is basically a way for you to not be tracked. It's a way for you. I bought my plane tickets for Ireland. I bought them and I pretended that I lived in the UK, and the tickets were cheaper than if I had bought them as listing myself from. You can basically change where you're saying you're from, and they don't know because it hides everything.
Yep. Already I'm getting flooded with ads for hiking boots, gear, hats, just everything, because it knows I'm going camping.
Dude, I bought...
It also knows where I'm going camping.
I bought a bucket hat. I see that hat behind you on the table?
Yeah.
What color is it?
It seems like it's maroon. Well, put it this way: can you see the mug when I hold it in front of the hat?
It's maroon. So I bought that right after I left you. I was biking home and I saw one of those little shops on the boardwalk had bucket hats, $10. And
if only you had been sitting alone on the beach with your maroon bucket hat, I would have taken pictures.
So I go over and I buy the bucket hat, and I don't express. I have to say this right now. I use ExpressVPN on my computer. You can also use it on your phone, and I forgot to set it up. So I get home and I go to a website. Suddenly there's ads for bucket hats. It heard me buy a bucket hat or walk in the door and say to Aaron, "Look at my new bucket hat," and all of a sudden ads are showing up.
Also, the map had you going in the bucket hat store.
So anyway,
this was like a hat store. But then AI was like, what hat would look good on that guy? Yep, a bucket hat.
So what happens is ISPs can sell your information to ad companies, and then they use the data to target you. ExpressVPN reroutes your network data through a secure encrypted tunnel, so your ISP can't see or sell your online activity. So easy to use. It starts up automatically on my computer. It's rated #1 by CNET and Tech Radar. And again, phones, laptops, even your router, so that if you share your Wi-Fi, it's protected. I love it for a number of reasons. Also, who knows? Who knows what you watch on your... That's up to you, what you want to watch. Whatever turns feet. Maybe you like feet.
Oh, boy.
Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/papers. Today, that's expressvpn.com/papers, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/papers.
Yeah, your computer's always like, why does it constantly think I want a Czechoslovakian massage? That's so weird.
It's so weird that they want the camera hidden. Why can't the camera be out in plain sight?
All right, what do we got?
We got a paper.
We have papers. You have contracts over there. What do you got?
We got...
No, I'd use white paper. Look at all this
Look at
paper.
this. It has no noise at all.
There's a bookshelf, for
All right,
Christ's
let me
sake.
use the paper from this notebook.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
Notebook that...
There's a printer here. You don't want to use... Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Oh, that's crisp.
That's a good crisp.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Front page. Syphilis emergency looms in the U.S. as drugs run low. A shortage of penicillin to treat a skyrocketing number of syphilis cases is so dire that U.S. health officials are debating the need to declare a public health emergency, according to people familiar with the matter. If they do, everyone's going to have to wear masks over their junk. Major U.S. medical centers are rationing the recommended treatment for the deadly sexually transmitted disease because of a supply crunch. Some are prioritizing giving penicillin to pregnant patients and babies because the drug can pass through the placenta and also treat the fetus. Nobody knows where and how syphilis started. There are two major ideas about its origin back in the day. The first is called the Columbian hypothesis. It says that when Christopher Columbus' his crew came back from Europe after exploring the New World, they brought syphilis back and spread the disease all over Europe. So, of course, the Italians did it.
Right. And they're going to be the first ones that get it again back in this country. Full circle. Same syphilis that left
Jersey
here.
Shore.
Yeah, Jersey Shore. Jesus, I was just there, and I'm telling you, syphilis is the least of your problems if you try to get laid on that boardwalk. First of all, you'll get crushed. You'll be crushed to death having sex with somebody from the boardwalk.
Oh, no.
And you're going to get cotton candy on your neck, and you're going to have fucking fried dough stains on your shirt. they're animals. They don't know how to walk on a boardwalk. They stop.
A lot of
in a circle.
Philadelphians go there.
Oh
A lot of
my
them.
God! Now these were the ones from Jersey.
Many famous people in history have had syphilis. For example, Franz Schubert, Arthur Schopenhauer, Edward Manet, and Adolf Hitler had this disease. So it seems to attack artists.
Oh, that's Hitler? That's how you think of Hitler?
Thank you. Yeah. You know he went to art school.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely Hagar the Horrible. There is a reason why Helga is always in a bad mood. She's got a fever. She's dripping pus. He's he doesn't use protection when he rapes.
Yeah. And he had it. It should be the Hagar. What is it? The Hagar hypothesis, not the Columbian.
Right.
Hagar was the Columbus before Columbus.
Syphilis. Wasn't that? Yeah, I remember.
There's also
was it Van Gogh that had syphilis and went mad?
I don't know. Holy man, this article had pictures of the different stages and the amount of lesions you can have all over your body. Really crazy.
Imagine being born with it. These women are pregnant and they give it to their kids.
Oh my God. I know.
Jesus.
But also, was it like Napoleon, or there was also a philosopher, I think, who went crazy with it. But I don't know.
All right,
I thought it would be in that list.
Let's skip the paddle border and go down to Florida.
You got it. This is called Florida Fish Boil, a sweltering summer that has shattered heat records worldwide and in Florida continued this week when a buoy station off the Florida Keys recorded a water temperature that, if confirmed, would set the record for the warmest seawater temperature ever recorded on the planet.
Oh my God.
The buoy in Manatee Bay, largely enclosed body of water north of Key Largo, captured a stunning 101.1 degree Fahrenheit reading at 5 feet deep Monday night. Okay, I've had hot tubs and I've been around hot tubs. Most people keep a hot tub, which is, for me, I'm a bit of a pussy getting in, a little hard. I just don't jump in it because it's hot, especially when it gets up to like my midsection, I ease in. Those are at 102.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
This is not
our hot tub,
just hot seawater.
We keep our hot tub at 102.
Right.
The fish are biting hooks just to get the fuck out of the water. They're diving into nets.
That steel looks cold also. That looks like a cold treat. Imagine how loose the old guy's balls are in that water down in Florida.
God.
I told you the story when I went down once. I didn't have a bathing suit. So my dad lent me his, and it was gigantic. So when I was in the hot tub, it looked like I had just been parasailing, and the parachute or whatever, the parachute was around me, and I was in the water with a parachute billowing all around me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks you just farted.
Right. Entertainment.
Entertainment.
I mean, so this story just came in. I saw an email pop up that I think is confirming that California Governor Gavin Newsom may have jumped in to solve the agonizing labor problems, the writer's strike and actor's strike in Hollywood. So on Monday, he was supposed to appear at Democratic governors anyway. So he didn't appear. This is all theory at this point, but I didn't read the article that just got emailed to me. But Newsom already has a strong constituency among Hollywood leaders. When he was threatened in 2021 with a recall vote, Jeffrey Katzenberg donated $500,000 to his cause at a star-studded fundraiser that brought in over $1 million. Netflix's Reed Hastings separately tossed in $3 million. And it says Newsom has a lot of support from the top Hollywood names on both sides of the current disagreements. It sounds like he only has support from the producers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there's some actors who like him, but those people want to crush the unions, the ones that they just listed.
That being said, nobody has made or nobody has performed and acted in a docuseries or written a docuseries about him fucking his best friend and campaign manager's wife. That could happen. So maybe he should tread lightly with
That's
that.
a good point. And also, if he handles the strikes, like he did the pandemic, it's going to take 3 years, and nobody will be allowed by law to leave the picket lines. You're going to be kept there.
Do you
forcibly.
remember when we weren't allowed to go to the fucking beach in the summer?
Yeah.
That was insane. They
mean,
closed the bike path along the ocean.
Yeah.
The one thing that was keeping me sane was taking a bike ride by the ocean.
Well, they thought it could have been, I know, and I was out there every day, though. When you were out there alone, and I guess looking like an old guy like me, the police just like nodded.
Yeah,
They're like, he needs his walk.
Right.
He's not going to have a party down here. We could see that from a mile away.
He's white. Leave him alone.
Oh, that's exactly right.
But I was thinking about, as far as California guys go, like Reagan was president of the Actors
Yeah.
Union. Schwarzenegger, I don't know if he was president, but he was a voice of the actors for a while.
Maybe.
So
And
maybe
then governor.
this is a trod path to support the actors.
As unlikable as he can be, did you see his interview on Fox News?
Gavin Newsom?
Yeah.
He was amazing.
He's just he's smart, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But God damn it, does he have blind spots? Like that being out without a mask. Where was he, at French Laundry?
yeah.
It's just, you know, if you care about that
It's a
stuff-
common sense thing where you go like, it's
I
not
know.
that big a deal, but it is a big deal because it's like, yeah, how do you not know how that looks? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's not like none of us
And you
cheated during
look
the...
like you are a great looking rich dude.
And the hair gel's got to stop.
I know.
It's better now than it used to be, but it's still bad.
It's like Pat Riley. Remember that?
Yes.
It's exactly like Pat Riley.
This is a story that I picked out for you because I know that you love this guy.
I don't.
Social media can be a truly fickle place, so it probably shouldn't be surprising to learn that some of the same folks who were swearing allegiance to Jason Aldean this time a week ago are now just swearing at him. Controversy has swirled around the country music star since the release of his, quote, "Try That in a Small Town" video, with some labeling it pro-lynching and racist.
Pro-lynching.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he had in mind.
The Hollywood Reporter says that streams... to try that in a small town. Is this a song or was this just a video
So
where he was
I
talking?
went to look it up. So I put Aldean, small town, and I came upon Small Town Small, song by Jason Aldean, which also, by the way, songwriters, Michael Arthur Ray, Brantley Keith Gilbert, Brian Wayne Davis, Chase McGill, Brock Berryhill, Terry Delmar Phillips, Josh Michael Phillips, and Brandon J. Day. Was that? I think I just listed 8, but that's not even the song. So this multimillionaire really likes writing about small towns.
Just by himself, kicking back on the front porch.
Is one of those names Jason Aldean? You know, like his real name?
Right.
But still, there's 8 there. And I think 4 guys. Oh, let me see if any of the names match. Okay, and then...
It's a small town just to create a song for him.
It's that's good. I haven't heard that one. That's a good one.
So apparently the streams of Try That in a Small Town rose a whopping 909. Oh, yeah, it's a song. Rose a whopping
Of course it's a song. No,
999%.
I know everything about it. It's a song. He shot it in front of the courthouse where there was a very famous heinous lynching. Like
Oh, no
even worse than
shit.
regular lynchings. Yeah.
Damn, it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. But now the people who jumped in line to help push Aldean to that big weeks are saying that they are done supporting him. His transgression? Well, after insisting that his video wasn't racist, Aldean or his people went and cut several clips of Black Lives Matter protests out of the video.
So the right is saying, they didn't have rights to it. Oh, really? They didn't check that before it was put in a heavy rotation and released. When you are like in TV, same with record companies, in publicity and advertising, everything, every piece of footage is checked. Nothing gets released without that. So that line is bullshit. They also said, hey, the left is all like screaming at him that he shot. Miley Cyrus shot a video in front of the, but it was, I bet so what? So I bet a lot of dads and moms work in that building.
Wait,
But
what did she shoot in front of?
she shot a music video, but I bet it wasn't about stay the fuck out of our small town. We like our guns. which is
Yeah.
what his song says.
Right.
And we take care of our own, and you won't last long here if you pull that shit like you're robbing convenience stores, screaming at cops, whatever, all the lyrics here. It's crazy. If you pull a gun on an owner at a liquor store, you carjack an old lady at a red light, you cuss out a cop and spit in his face, stomp on a flag and light it up, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Oof.
Yeah, no.
Jeez.
Oh, no. It's fighting words for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
Small towns scare me more than big cities. I mean, maybe,
Of course.
maybe it's having lived in big cities most of my life. I really feel like when I do a gig and I'm in it doesn't matter what part of the country it is, small towns scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Because it's just there's less people to see what's going on.
It's not only that, but I mean, sometimes they're the best things,
Oh, of
they're also
course.
incredible.
No, we go up to Hamilton, New York, where our friend Matt Malloy lives.
Yeah.
And it is fucking paradise. The people are so nice, and we go for
And by the way, every lawn has, a Trump sign on it as
Right,
you drive there. So
that's
we're
true.
not even talking about politics.
right. Yeah.
And they are nice.
Yep.
And it's a real small town feel, and it's great up there. It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't think people I don't know. I can't speak for
Well, listen,
politics in small towns. Who
I
knows?
like the song because I hope all his fans stay in a small town. We already have a deal. Everybody knows the deal. I believe a lot of the cities and states that he's talking about and that he's showing video of and he's referring to, we send these small towns checks all the time, and they're handouts. They're basically welfare because you can't take care of your own. I mean, that's what's really going on.
Oh, you're going hard.
And the fact that big towns take care of your own, but I'd actually what I'd like to see is a small town actually take care of its own. So this song is hopeful for me. I'm hoping. But back to the deal. We give them handouts, and for that, they agree to stay there with their guns and take care of their own. And I think by take care of their own, it means they shoot their own. Because the violence, and I'm just going to stop here, but if you think that NRA talking point of that there's more gun violence and more murders and homicides in blue states or in the big cities than there are in these red states, please just educate yourself. It's a lie. You can Google it any different ways you want. Go to whatever news sources you want. Make sure per capita is probably in there. And even if you could say, oh my God, it's the blue cities like Nashville in our red states. Even when you remove the blue cities, when you remove them, 12% more murders in the red states.
Well, Texas has the highest per capita rate of gun deaths in the country.
And what gets me is, it's separate than you liking your guns and all that stuff, but you can't then just, when Abbott, after the school shooting, instead of taking ownership of it or doing fucking anything, Abbott said, everyone is saying Texas needs stronger gun laws. Well, California, Illinois, New York have proven that gun control doesn't work. And that was just a flat out lie. And he said there was more murders in those places than in Texas. And it's just not true.
Right.
There's a great statistician, and he gets angry not because he's left or right. He's on Instagram or I guess TikTok. He gets so angry because people are in such violation of statistics.
Right.
And he goes, they're ignoring this whole thing. Look at these charts and he's this kid and he's really impassioned.
Well, here's the other thing that cracked me up is that it said that sales of his album have gone through the roof, which really shows you what his listeners are like. Sales? When's the last time you bought a fucking song?
No, they're including, I think, online.
No, they're saying sales.
Maybe.
They literally said, wait, let me find it. They said, per the report, sales of the song went from 1,000 in the week prior to 228,000 across. Those are sales. Did they get it on a 45 RPM or on an 8-track?
They also could buy it electronically instead of just stream it, to show support.
Right. Okay.
Which they definitely did for sure.
All right. Speaking of shitting on the South, let's go to Florida.
I did not know this story. This is you.
Leprosy, the infectious disease. We got helicopters flying overhead. The infectious disease most commonly
Don't
known.
get that in a small town.
Yeah, as we're defending where we live,
Yeah.
there's fucking helicopters
riot
chasing
2 blocks
a
away.
criminal. Sirens. The The infectious disease most commonly known for its biblical associations has become more common in Florida, researchers warn.
God.
In 2020, the Sunshine State was among the states with the highest number of leprosy cases, contributing to evidence that the infection is becoming endemic in the southeastern region of the country. Leprosy damages the skin and peripheral nervous system. Although leprosy has been historically uncommon since the early 80s, the report states that cases have more than doubled in the past decade.
No, thank you. I'll take syphilis. If we're talking about comeback diseases.
What's going on? Is this because people just are not getting any vaccinations anymore?
I don't think the 101 degrees seawater is going to help this leprosy situation either.
And
what is happening?
Leprosy? And by the way,
that's also in a small town. Leprosy. Take care of it. Take care of your own lepers.
Can you imagine the cost of the drugs for leprosy? It would literally cost you an arm and a leg. I am so sorry.
There's one
why
because
did I need to do that joke?
I totally stepped on it. I didn't know what you were talking about. Yes, I was taking you literally. Wow.
Well, it's Florida, and in the old days, lepers, they used to make colonies, which were islands. They would put them all on an island.
Yeah.
Maybe a key? Isn't a key an island?
A key is certainly an island.
There you go.
It's a string of islands.
Yep.
Technically keys, I guess. Also, what was it? I remember when Clarice gave the first deal because Hannibal wanted a window or a view, or he wanted to be somewhere.
Silence of the Lambs.
What did I say?
You never said Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. And his first words when she came back, he's like, he goes, what was it? Anthrax Island. Isn't that charming? It was off of like Long Island. It was this, and it was a colony.
Yeah.
And it was a colony where they put people with anthrax, I guess.
Jesus.
Or with anthrax poisoning, or I don't even know what it was.
Well, in Miami, do you think that the fake tits and lips are going to fall off?
Those might survive, actually.
That'll be the only thing left, just a spine with tits and lips on it.
I think check Craigslist for used tits. I mean, you get them cheap. People are going to be needing to pay their doctor's bills. They're going to sell them, and they don't need them anymore, and everything is falling apart around it. All right, a Florida man was arrested for dunking a woman's head into a vat of tar during an argument. A woman suffered chemical burns after a Florida man dunked her head in a vat of tar-like substance and choked her at gunpoint. This is not funny. We're not meaning this to be funny, but there's murders everywhere, and this has a Florida flavor to it, I gotta say. So this guy was arrested this week after an unidentified woman told police, of course she was unidentified, she has tar all over her face, told police she was tortured after she had an argument with the felon on Thursday. She claimed the man dunked her head in a vat of tar-like substance that is used to treat clam and oyster bags. He also pointed a shotgun at her and choked her to near unconsciousness.
Jesus.
And adding insult to injury, the woman was immediately canceled for wearing blackface. You laugh, but that's very serious, Greg. You can't do that.
Oh, what's worse? And then what even got worse than that is she went to bed that night, her pillow leaked, and she got feathers all over her head.
Yep, you can't have one without the other.
Nope, you can't have one without the other.
Not in the South.
Nope. Let's make Australia, Florida.
Okay, I just found this. Thank God we waited. So we should tell people today's Thursday.
Yes, we're taping early because Mike's going camping, and I'm going to Malibu. How about that?
But it's like, also, do you want to talk about the occasions and stuff this weekend?
What, my anniversary?
I guess you're talking about it.
It's my 24th anniversary this weekend.
That.
Yeah.
This office feels like your wedding. Do you remember how hot it was in
my
that
wedding?
church?
It was 101 degrees, and the church it had been 100.
Florida water.
It had been 100 for 3 days, and it was one of those. The church was built in like 1780, and it was about 4 feet thick stone church, which basically became like a brick oven pizza. It was holding the heat from the day before. Then it went up to 100, and I just remember being on the altar as you do, because you were my best man. And it was so hot that we were dripping in sweat. And then they started playing Here Comes the Bride. And we're standing there waiting, and no Aaron. And the organist goes through the whole first verse and looks around, starts the second
It's like a
verse.
rom-com,
And
yeah.
we're waiting. And meanwhile, she was Julia Roberts' assistant at the time, and they had just finished shooting Runaway Bride. So that was the running joke, was that she was going to be the runaway bride. So now she's not coming in. And it turns out she was sitting in a limo with the air conditioning cranked, and her father was supposed to go get her. And he was spacey old guy who just kind of stood there. And so finally she came down the aisle, and I started crying. I was already crying as soon as I
Couldn't
heard the
tell
first.
with all the sweat.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when you cry, guys. That's
And then
the
we
key.
go to the reception, and it was under a tent. So there was no air conditioning, and it was so hot out that the circuit broke, and we had a funk band. And they were in the middle of a song, and all of a sudden, all the lights and all the music went out. And this was 12 minutes into
She's
the
a Brit.
reception.
Out. Yeah.
So I don't know. Somehow they jerry-rigged it, and they got the electricity back on, and it was a great reception. It was a great fucking reception.
It was an amazing wedding, and I remember joking because you made us all get these sharkskin suits, which are very retro. Those do not breathe.
No.
That's what we learned.
Yeah. And then your joke was, usually it's the bridesmaids that are complaining that they'll never wear this outfit again.
That's exactly right. So anyway, it's Thursday, and this story just came in. I'm glad we waited till today. A 44-year-old Greek-Australian man, sorry about my voice today, was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for his involvement in a series of bestiality and break-in offenses at St. Mary's School in Sydney's West.
Well, I was on board until I found out it was at a Catholic school.
Teaching staff at the school had become suspicious of someone breaking into their milking shed after hours, which led them to review security camera footage. The footage captured the man herding 2 goats into a gated area on May 6th, and a week later he was recorded walking around the same shed naked from the waist down. The authorities eventually caught him engaging in sexual activity with, this is my favorite line, authorities eventually caught him engaging in sexual activity with a male sheep while a female goat was found in a state of shock nearby. Now, do you think he had her way with her already, or she's just watching and in a state of shock?
I'd much rather go first and just get it over with. I don't want to sit in the pen next to you wondering when my turn is.
Right. I guess there's that. The court heard that the man was under the influence of meth and had been awake for 5 days when he engaged in sexual activities with a male sheep. So he's gay, this guy also.
Yeah.
His defense lawyer argued that his client's meth use, combined with his sexual deviance and paraphilic disorder of attraction towards animals, influenced his actions. I think at that point he's like, hey, you know what? I got this.
Yeah.
That's my lawyer. Just stated all that. How about just plead insanity?
Just say I'm an animal lover. Do you have to say it that way?
Good Lord, I'm 3 deep on crazy accusations.
The detail of it being a male is so much for, like, you think of like Ron DeSantis, like so much worse to him that didn't care about it being a sheep, but that it was a male.
Maybe that's what the female sheep was shocked about. Like,
Yeah,
what? I'm right here with this wet pussy.
Right.
What are you doing?
It was a lamb. I mean, look, I think we can all relate to these desires. I mean, we've all been on a farm, and there's smells and there's sights, and you got to just do what I do, which is you just jerk off in your wife's Ugg. And you save one for later. You got a second Ugg for later.
And at least they're female Uggs.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're shaped perfectly for your hand. You can hold the outside, and you can really get 6 or 7 in there before it starts to lose its
Before she takes her
softness.
foot out? Oh, my God. Wait a minute.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Happy anniversary. Have fun in Malibu.
Ugh.
What was I thinking? No, I lost my train. You ever do that where you think you're going to get it? So you're like, oh yeah, and you try to prompt yourself back into it. But I'm going to
It's
remember
like a
this.
sneeze when you try to look at the light.
I never heard about looking at the light.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You ever get a sneeze, then you lose the sneeze?
Yeah, but sometimes like I grab my nose and stop breathing
Now
through
you
it.
look at the light.
Look at the light. I don't
Swear to
know.
God, look at the light. You'll get your sneeze back.
Don't do that
It-
if you're thinking you're dying.
It's
I
almost
think.
like an orgasm. Sometimes when you're about to have an orgasm and then it's like riding a wave and then the wave goes under you and you missed it and you got to wait for the next wave and ride
Oh
that
no,
one in.
totally.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
losing a sneeze feels like to me.
When we were younger, that didn't happen. The first wave washed
First
you on
wave,
shore.
that was it.
And you were fighting it too. Like, please, not this wave. I want another one.
Well, but also then you knew that you were going to ride a few waves that day.
Right.
Now there's one wave.
They didn't even sentence him to that long because the judge took everything in, and they also didn't have much precedent. I didn't put that in, but that was in the article. What was I going to say about this sex with a sheep? All right, we're moving on.
Yeah, what's precedent? Referring back to the 1958 case of Old MacDonald.
Well, how about that? Maybe he got a little credit because so a completely deranged man went to a school and didn't shoot kids.
That's true.
Let's give him some credit.
Yeah. I wonder if Old MacDonald was one of these perverts because his animals were making a lot of noise.
I know what I was going to say now because it's so unrelated. That's why I forgot it. I cannot get enough of these TikTok, which I see on Instagram videos, of when goats freeze. When they get startled, they freeze and
And they
fall
fall
over.
down, yeah.
We talked about it before. There's one where the UPS truck is arriving on a farm and it bangs into a hole and 6 goats lock up and tip over. That's what this must have done. That's how he got them. That maybe the female was like in that state.
You know, if more people watched the podcast, I would be inclined to add a section on our show about good viral videos from that week. But you can't, what are we going to describe them? 95% of our listeners just listen and they don't watch. Nobody watches.
Why would you? Look at us.
That's true.
And I'm probably getting progressively redder as the temperature goes up to
No, you're not
103.
red. International.
Here you go. This story scares me.
Residents of China are reportedly using face masks that are also known as face keenies to protect themselves against the sun amid an intense heat wave. Face keenies, which are masks that cover the entire face with holes for the eyes and mouth, have been
It's like
selling
those
out in
intense
China.
ski masks. You pull it over your head and there's
Yes.
3 holes in it.
Yeah, so I guess they've been having sweltering heat. The product sells well because it covers the canthus, or the corner of the eye where freckles may grow easily. The Yiwu International Trade Market merchant Dong Wei told the outlet, "It does. It looks like a Mexican wrestling match."
That I just read that line in there. That's exactly it. What is it? It's not is it a luchador?
Luce Vavoom.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah, but we're gonna put it in. If you're watching the show, you're gonna be able to see the picture. The irony is, I checked my Coppertone sunblock, SPF 25, made in China. How about that? How about don't put a fucking rubber suit on your body and a condom on your head on a
Yeah.
hot day?
This is why I'm scared of this story, because Asians were wearing face masks way before the pandemic. Turns out they were right.
Yep.
I think this is where we're all heading.
Wow.
I mean, it looks like they took the one on the right, or really the left. It looks like they took a dishwashing glove and somehow got their head in it. Then
Yeah.
they cut holes.
Right.
Although it'd be much funnier with the mohawk of fingers on top of the head if it were that. That would be great.
Can I say also, it's kind of funny that their eyes are very narrow on the mask.
I'm glad you asked. No.
It's okay to say that?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, just one glove. That image reminded me. I remember telling you this story. I recklessly drove this small motorboat from West Hampton, Long Island, and I was going, and I'm like, this will be easy. I'll just go along the beach, refuel in Montauk, and I was getting to Jack's house on Martha's Vineyard. It turns out I got so lucky I did make it. But anyway, in addition to almost hitting surfers on Block Island, when I was in such thick fog, I almost drove up on the beach, like at less than 1 mile an hour. While I was going along like Southampton or whatever, I noticed this debris and like some seaweed floating and a hand sticking up. And I freaked out. And I was like, holy, do I just keep going? I'm like, I can't keep going. I got to report this body. And I pulled up to it, and it was a yellow dishwashing
No shit.
glove, like from a boat. And it
Wow.
was full of air sticking straight up.
Dude, that's like the cold open to a horror movie.
Yeah.
The false, like, spotting a body.
Or you think it's false and you pull it, and then
Yeah, yeah.
you then see the body come up.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then you see the dirty dishes, and you're like, oh, that's where she should have been.
Oh, it was just the help. I don't
Ugh.
have to report this body.
All right, let's skip this one and go to science and technology
There
and
it
health.
is.
And health. Important that this is also health.
Mitch McConnell, probably people heard it. It was the lead story the last 2 days. Mitch McConnell was escorted away from cameras after freezing during a news conference. And I just think it's bad news. It seems he might have caught stiff person's disease or syndrome from Celine Dion. It's spreading.
Yes. It is. If you haven't seen it, I guess everybody's we got to assume by Sunday everybody's seen it. It's pretty disturbing. It's very worrisome. And it makes Biden look like Richard Simmons.
He's agile.
Yeah. He's animated. He's full of life and zest.
Did you see when so Biden called McConnell to check in on him?
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd like to hear that conversation.
No, they did. And McConnell came back at him. He's like, I had what did Biden trip over last week? Sandbag? I got sandbagged. He goes, I had my sandbag moment. Like all he kept doing was pointing to that Biden fell.
No shit.
It was all good natured. But
Yeah. Boy, how do these guys keep going?
Oh, I
It's
know.
just crazy. Why keep going? You're so old and you're so rich and you're so tired.
And despite
Just-
how much I hate him and how much, it's easy to say like, oh my God, they take so much time off and holy shit, they have so much help and all that. But I think they, especially at that age, they are working a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Biden, of course, any president, even Trump, who took the most time off and played the most, all that, they work so it's fucking nonstop.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to Ireland for a couple weeks and fucking Gibbons is going to step in.
That's it.
Okay, business.
Nice.
Anheuser-Busch, the parent company of Bud Light, announced it would be laying off some 350 employees, many of them corporate positions,
Ooh,
as it
nice.
seeks to recover from the fallout over a campaign involving a trans influencer. The company said the layoffs would affect less than 2% of its 18,000 employees. Today, we took the very difficult but necessary decision to eliminate a number of positions across our corporate organization. While we don't take these decisions lightly, yes, you do, you're Bud Light. We want to ensure that our organization continues to be set for long-term success. So, yeah,
It doesn't sound like they're laying off any trans people. I just want to add that.
no, they need them. They need them at this point. I mean, look, you've heard so much spin on this story, and so many people have said like this is really it's crushing Budweiser, and other people are like, it really their stock price hasn't really gone. I don't think the stock price has gone down, has it?
Immediately following it was going up. I mean, not because anyone thought it was good news. It was just it had dipped before that, and I didn't think this was a big enough. I mean, it's such a bigger company.
We
than
should
Bud
get
Light.
we should get a trans person to do a plug for our show and just put it on social media. Do you think it would hurt us?
Kevin Brennan might be trans. I don't know. Do you want me to? Of course, now we're going to get a million phone calls. He'll try anything to work more.
Maybe I should just maybe we should go and drag both of us, dress up as women, and promote our show and see how people react to it.
A maroon dress. Is that what you're pitching?
Yes. This day in history.
Here it goes.
Okay, on July 30th, 1956, 2 years after pushing to have the phrase "under God" inserted into the Pledge of Allegiance, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signs a law officially declaring "In God We Trust" to be the nation's official motto. It mandated that the phrase be printed on all paper
I
currency.
didn't know it was that late. Wow.
It had been placed on U.S. coins since the Civil War, when, according to the Historical Association of the United States, religious sentiment reached a peak. So they added it to the paper money as well. So, although some historical accounts claim Eisenhower was raised a Jehovah's Witness, most presidential scholars now believe his family was Mennonite.
That's why he was knocking on Europe's door on D-Day.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Either way, Eisenhower abandoned his family's religion before entering the army and took the unusual step of being baptized relatively late in life as a Presbyterian.
Wow.
So who knows? I mean, it's pretty crazy that a country that in the tenets of it tells you in the Constitution, separation between church and state would allow "In God We Trust" to go onto the currency and into the Pledge of Allegiance, or I don't know about the pledge, but to be the motto of the country. If
you step pretty far back, not even that far actually, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, is there a good explanation of it?
I mean, you can say that God is, a concept that a lot of religions subscribe to, and that it's a higher power, but we know which God they're talking about.
I know, but why does the government concern themselves with it?
Yeah, right.
Literally, it's a check written to you from the Treasury.
Yeah.
And there's gold originally backing it, right? Like it's the
opposite of religion. It's absolute fact. It's grounded in reality.
Well, not only that, religion has a lot of terrible things to say about money.
That's right. Good point.
So there's also that.
Right.
It's
also weird that, sports has done it. Religion had nothing to do with sports, and patriotism had nothing to do with sports. And then starting in, I can't remember the time. Somebody can write in and tell me this. But there was a certain point where the government decided they needed new recruits for the military. And so they started paying sports teams, and they still do. Every time you see, Lieutenant so-and-so now throwing out the first pitch, or, they point out military people in the crowd, or the planes fly over. All that shit is paid for by the U.S. military, and it goes into the coffers of Major League Baseball or the NFL or wherever they're showing it.
Wow.
It's a fucking recruitment technique.
No, I know. Meanwhile, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, did Tillman get enough ink spilled and attention? Or maybe not, because it's so self-incriminating to the country.
Who's Tillman again?
Tillman was in the NFL. I think he played at Arizona State or University of Arizona. I think he was a Sun Devil. And he, after 9/11, left the NFL to go fight and was killed by friendly fire.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, I know there was a documentary, but like, is that like a Joe Rogan? I mean, that seems like a big Joe Rogan deep dive.
Right. Well, I'll bring it up next time I'm on the show.
He probably had the equivalent of Tom O'Neill, a guy who spent years on the Tillman thing, you know what I mean? And probably, has written a good book on it that I'm unaware of.
Right.
But that is so goddamn tragic. And also, what the fuck were we? Well, it was Saudi Arabia, and we're in these other goddamn countries. Anyway, whatever.
All right, listen.
And that's all, folks.
This is a heavy one, and we haven't talked about it yet, but it's something that you and I have spent a lot of time in the last 24 hours talking about and listening to her music, but this is the obituary. It's a sad crinkle.
Sad crinkle, but, I don't know. I'm like, oddly, like, you know what? It wasn't that surprising that Sinead O'Connor died, is I guess a big part of it. Do they know?
They have not yet declared what it is. I don't know by Sunday, maybe they will come out and say how she died. I mean, there is obviously a lot of assumption based on the fact that a year ago she was hospitalized after kind of writing a suicide note on Twitter.
No, wait. Someone sent me. Did you see the TikTok that it said people. Hold on.
Well, let me start the.
Here it is. Oh, fuck this. Oh, fucking whatever. I hate how TikTok goes to other videos when I press that. Anyway, there's apparently her talking to camera, and they said that might have been hours or the day of her death or something. I don't know. But, you
What
know,
did
I
she
talked
say?
a lot about her. All right, let's find it. Here we
Well,
go.
I mean, can you paraphrase?
I didn't watch it, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh, I saw. I can paraphrase. I saw it. Yeah, she
What the
basically
fuck?
was talking about how the last 2 years of her life she's been completely mentally ill, and that family has not been there to support her, and that mentally ill people need love and they need support, and she's hysterically crying that she needed it and did not get it.
Well, you put something. So I talked a lot about her, and you know the highlights for me about her that I really didn't know in the '90s and some until recently. You know, she does that first album, and then she's at her first Grammys.
The Lion and the Cobra, was it the
Yeah,
first time?
and she had only been on Letterman. She had never been on primetime nor any other show. She's going on the Grammys. She sees how marginalized the Grammys, how badly they've marginalized hip hop and rap. So rap is angry, and including Public Enemy, Tribe Called Quest, a bunch of groups. So she puts on her head the Public Enemy logo. Oh, by the way, the reason her head shaved is she hears there's many different stories, but one of the stories she then landed on was that they wanted her to be prettier, the record label.
Yeah.
They wanted her to be prettier, and so they wanted her to wear makeup and a dress, and she's like, got it, and she had her head immediately shaved.
Yeah.
So that's one. Then she goes to the Grammys. Hears that those artists aren't doing there, puts the Public Enemy, which is a violent logo, it's a crosshairs, and puts the Public Enemy logo on her head. Also, the label said, motherhood and your career are not compatible. Her son, who died, was a baby at that point, so she tucked his onesie into her outfit, into her pants. So she went out and performed her first time that Americans are basically seeing her, unless you were up for some weird reason at 1:20 a.m. watching a Letterman show.
Yeah.
And she did those two moves, and that was 4 years before tearing up the Pope.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, she's dead at 56. She broke out with the single Nothing Compares to You, then caused an uproar by ripping up a photo of the Pope on SNL. I hate that that's overshadowed her image so much, because it's like, if this country has a way of taking your most scandalous moment and overshadowing fucking artistic genius. And, you know, I'm so sick of hearing about an actor who put on 15 pounds to play a role and they call that heroic, or some actress didn't wear makeup while she shot an episode of a TV show and it's heroic. No, heroic is taking on, when you're from a country that is completely Catholic, where you were sexually abused,
Yeah.
and where you were outraged by the fact that the Pope is overseeing them moving priests from parish to parish who have been pedophiles. And so she has the audacity to rip up a picture of that guy, and that overshadows the fact that she has created some of the, I mean, I really think, for your money, in our generation, there's not a better voice than Sinead O'Connor, not a purer voice.
No matter what you think, it's up there.
Yeah.
Like, it just is.
Right. And her songwriting is fucking brilliant. Her ability to take on different genres. I mean, in every album
yeah.
I mean, what about the title track from I Do Not Want What I Don't Have?
No.
She
I always get it wrong.
It's a
too.
cappella. There's no music. And it's haunting. I listened to it I got into bed last night, and I'd already listened to the album twice that day. And I'm laying in bed, and I put on my headphones, and that song comes on, and it speaks to you. It makes you wonder, what the fuck is this telling me something? Is she telling me something in this song?
When you have black boys on mopeds,
Yeah.
and three babies, and like
Emperor's New Clothes.
Emperor's New Clothes. Someone pointed out, I never really, it's a upbeat. It's not upbeat literally, like it's like a lot. It's an energetic song, but those lyrics are fucking amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so much the theme of her life. Like it was about this breakup, but it was about someone not standing. And yes, I'm sorry I went crazy. I did. I'm sorry. But like, and being abandoned when she couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
She couldn't handle her emotions, which she owned later in life. She would talk about what happens when you have sexual abuse as a kid is you are arrested and you're a child. You're a child walking around an adult body. She's like, I would throw these tantrums at 22, 23 years old, literally like a child. And I didn't know why.
Right, right. And, you know, she got married. It's so fucking tragic when you look at the clear mental instability. Married 4 times. None of them lasted more than 2 years.
Oh, wow.
You know, had her child. I think she had one of her children taken away by the father when she was young. You know, obviously the different breakdowns.
Well, you know what? She dated Peter Gabriel for a little while.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel's on tour, which I fucking love that guy. I wonder, who knows, but I wonder if he did it's very interesting to see people do covers now. So a fun, and I know I've said this before, but a fun thing to do when a big musical person dies is wait a few days. You go on YouTube, put their name, the person that died, and cover, and then limit your search for just that week. And you'll see everyone filming like, oh my God, Radiohead did, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, there was a tribute. It was Pink and what's her name? Brandy Carlisle did a show last night, and they sang.
Yeah, Brandy
Nothing
Carlisle.
Compares to You.
Oh yeah, Brandy Carlisle talked a lot about.
And I just thought about, but I just want to say, talk about 2 artists that deserve to sing that song. You know, that have lived in that spirit.
Yeah. One thing about her tearing up the Pope. So this was she was being this is an article, and she was interviewed. She's probably still most famous for ripping up the picture of John Paul II. Has that defined her career? This is Sinead's answer. Yes, in a beautiful fucking way. There was no doubt about who this bitch is. There was no more mistaking this woman for a pop star, but it was not derailing. People say, oh, you fucked up your career, but they're talking about the career they had in mind for me. I fucked up the house in Antigua that the record company dudes wanted to buy. I fucked up their career, not mine. It meant I had to make my living playing live, and I am born for live performance.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, she didn't give a shit about fame or money or anything.
No, she really didn't. And she at a certain point did a reggae album, and then she did a traditional Irish album. She did it all.
Covers of American standards.
Yep. Which got panned, by the way. That was the one album that really got panned.
I don't know though. People have revisited. She did some Cole Porter songs that are pretty unbelievable. What was the one? I'll get it in a minute. She covers a Cole Porter song that's incredible. This is what I will say. There is an album with, I think there's 5 songs on it. If you maybe aren't, although, the acoustic songs we mentioned are great, but a real gentle, apolitical album after she had one of her kids is called Gospel Oak. And that's the neighborhood she was living in when she recorded it. It has To Mother You, which is unbelievable. Go listen to that song, and it's so beautiful. It really is. But what you're saying is right. What we're mourning here, it could be someone else if they were this big an artist. It's so rare that you have such a true artist who got this big a platform.
Yeah, right.
And she didn't let it change her.
Right.
Most artists, you never hear about them. There's a ton of true artists out there, but they won't sell out and stuff. And by the way, the first noise she made, even before that first Grammys, was this place goes, oh yeah, where was it, in New Jersey or something? She's like, oh yeah, we play the national anthem before you take the stage. She's like, no, you don't. Not a chance. You are not playing the national anthem. And you want to know what she said? Because you are silencing 2 Live Crew.
Oh, no shit.
Can you fucking imagine that?
Wow.
You're silencing. Censorship is one of the biggest things in America, and you are not going to play that national anthem before an artist goes on stage.
Right. Wow. And that's when Sinatra went after her. He said he would smack her or something like
No, Joe Pesci. Listen, even I was annoyed by her. I'm not taking the high road here. I did not understand it. When she ripped up the Pope, I remember thinking, I don't know, is that the platform for it? And I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
Something that egregious,
right,
worldwide.
pedophilia.
systematic global system.
Right.
Dickey talked about Fall River. The worst one in the Boston diocese was moved there
Yeah.
and fucking raped kids there.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, here's a line
And
from...
it went to the top.
Here's a little stanza from Emperor's New Clothes. I will live by my own policies. I will sleep with a clear conscience. I will sleep in peace.
Yeah.
That's how the New York Times ended their article about her. The other thing is, like, when you think about, like, I was so depressed yesterday. It hit me so hard because I feel
When
like...
you were on the beach sitting alone?
Yeah.
You're kidding. Looking out at the abyss?
I went out last night and I was like really having one of those nights where I was like, God, I don't feel like performing at all. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I was thinking about that love that you can have for an artist that's so one way that she doesn't know me. And so it feels false, like, oh, who the fuck am I to say I love? But isn't it in our capacity to have a one-way love for an artist that speaks to you that deeply? Like when I was in college and I first got that album, I listened to it nonstop, and it was like I felt the same way about Bruce Springsteen when I was in high school. It just spoke to me. It
Right.
moved me in a way that is love. I mean, what is love? It's feeling aspirational and it's feeling connected
Yeah.
and emotional.
Oh, yeah.
So when somebody like that dies, it really is on a minor level like losing a loved one.
And you're also mourning so many versions of yourself.
Right.
And how you've grown. Like there's that great saying that when you reread a classic novel, you don't learn more about the novel, you learn more about yourself. And I think that's what we were talking about. Like when there are these artists, it's like, sure, Springsteen, you could just be a fanboy for Springsteen on that level. But if it's a real artist, that guy's getting you to think about yourself and the world and your family and your loved ones and your hated ones and ways to be better.
Right.
Or what you think is better.
Yeah, I remember Pete Holmes. I heard him on a podcast one time, and he said, and I love Pete, and he's actually a very wise spiritual person. And he said that we as artists feel our, I want to say it right, feel our emotions at a deep level, and then we come back and report it to the normal people. And that they may not fully understand it, but it awakens some small part in them that they can recognize.
Marshall McLuhan said the only people you can trust are artists. Not only because their eyes are open and they're more present if they're true artists, but they're on the front line, like exactly what Pete's saying. Like they're even like we were talking about Sarah Silverman earlier. When Sarah Silverman talks about her troubles, or when she makes light and really good jokes about stuff she's gone through and all that, and like
she's talking about menopause now. I mean,
Yeah.
who the fuck talks about menopause?
She, as we know her personally, but also you can tell if you don't, she feels, one could say too much. You know what I mean? She's talked about her medication. Like we interviewed her for the Brody thing, and Brody was another one, and so I think that's great that Pete said that.
And it also, saying what you're feeling and passionate about, you have to leave open the possibility that you can walk that back later. But why? But are you going to not say it? Because someday you may have to say, you know what, maybe I was overcome by emotion. No, an artist says it. They feel it. They state it.
Yeah. And she felt, I texted you guys the other day when she died, I guess yesterday, and I was like, because I thought about when I would read about so for the Grammys, that first Grammys, she did that stuff. Then the year she won the Grammy, she didn't go because she was boycotting because of the commercialism and the gender and racial bias of the Grammys. Keep in mind, it was so much later that they finally started, like 20 years later, they started to address the racial issue in the Grammys.
Yeah.
And anyway, she won the Grammy. She is the only artist, as we're still talking about it now, to reject her Grammy. Many
Well,
artists,
no, it was a Grammy nomination.
No, her Grammy she rejected. She won that year.
Oh, really?
She won in 1991, I think. And Vernon Reid was at it, and he won for Best Rock Performance. He was in Living Color, the band. And Vernon Reid here's a black man on stage, and he has wearing a T-shirt, a picture of Sinead O'Connor.
Wow.
In 91, because she was walking the walk.
Damn.
And she still has never accepted that Grammy. She's the only artist ever. Some don't go, they refuse to go to it, but it gets sent to them and they keep it. She refused it. And then wait, I want to read one thing. After she tore up the picture of the Pope, fucking Madonna, tore up a picture of Joey Buttafuoco the next week.
Yeah.
But this is interesting. This is a Spin magazine article, I think from, 1995 or something. Anyway. So
basically, you should also say that Madonna said that Sinead looked like her hair had been run over by a lawnmower.
So she addressed, so Sinead, they brought up Madonna and that controversy. And she goes, Madonna is probably the hugest model for women in America. There's a woman who people look up to as being a woman who campaigns for women's rights. A woman who, in an abusive way toward me, said I looked like I had a run-in with a lawnmower and that I was about as sexy as a Venetian blind. Now, there's a woman that America looks up to as being a campaigner for women, slagging off another woman for not being sexy.
Yeah. Fuck Madonna. She's a piece of shit.
And she had gone too far,
her.
and meanwhile, the Like a Virgin shit and all the commercial whoring
Yeah,
that
she's
she did.
dressed up in bondage wear, and yeah, she stands for
Like
nothing.
a Prayer.
She's fashion. Madonna is fashion. She's not a great singer. She's not a great songwriter. She's not even a great dancer. She's just a package and a brand.
Yeah.
This is something that.
So anyway, also see the documentary. I would say that to everybody.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Go. I forget where it is, but you can find it. There's a documentary. Now, the documentary I felt is not that great of a documentary, but the subject matter is just too good for it not to be a very good documentary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you just told the story in the most unartful way, it would still be great.
Right. Well, and just speaking of cynical takes on this, I don't know if you call this cynical or just honest, but Morrissey, our friend Morrissey, came out and he said...
this was perfect.
Well, here's the article. In light of Sinead's tragic passing, countless musicians and public figures have shared their tributes. Morrissey, though, is calling bullshit. And a new statement made to his post on his website, he criticized certain members of the music industry and media who praised O'Connor, quote, now only because it's too late. You hadn't the guts to support her when she was alive and she was looking for you. She had only so much self to give. Morrissey said. She was dropped by her label after selling 7 million albums for them. She became crazed, yes, but uninteresting, never. She had done nothing wrong. She had proud vulnerability, and there is a certain music industry hatred for singers who won't fit in. This I know only too well, and they are never praised until death, when finally they can't answer. The press will label artists as pests because of what they withhold. And they would call Sinead sad, fat, shocking, insane. Oh, but not today. Music CEOs who had put her on their most charming smile as they refused her for their roster are queuing up to call her a feminist icon. And 15-minute celebrities and goblins from hell and record labels of artificially aroused diversity are squeezing onto Twitter to Twitter their jibber-jabber when it was you who talked Sinead into giving up because she refused to be labeled and she was degraded, as those few who move the world are always degraded. You think people will talk about our podcast this way after we die?
I think so.
We refuse to be degraded.
Oh, I thought we were the degraders.
Oh, shit.
I think they will talk about us like he's talking
probably.
about the CEOs.
We are the man. We have talked about going to Malibu and Martha's Vineyard in the last 20 minutes.
Go and then he concludes.
Oh, he concludes with, she was a challenge and she couldn't be boxed up and she had the courage to speak when everyone else stayed safely silent. She was harassed simply for being herself. Her eyes finally closed in search of a soul she could call her own. As always, the lame streamers missed the ringing point, and with locked jaws, they returned to the insultingly stupid icon and legend when last week words far more cruel and dismissive would have done. Tomorrow, the fawning fops flip back to their online shit posts and their cozy cancer culture and their moral superiority and their obituaries of parroted vomit, all of which will catch you lying on days like today when Sinead doesn't need your sterile slop. Damn.
And someone I thought it was him when yeah, that was amazing. But someone pointed out, like, and what did she, and what was the horrific thing she did? She tore up a photo.
Yeah.
That was her crime.
Right.
Oh my God.
On a
do you
show.
know that was her mom's photo?
Oh,
of
no
the Pope?
shit. Wow.
When her mom died.
She had a very mixed relationship with her mom because some of her lyrics are very
No.
loving.
It's really, really bad.
But she was a horrible mother.
No, but there's a great interview where, and she says all abuse from adults is she thinks it's unintentional because they're the child in an adult's body.
Yeah.
They've been abused.
Right.
Kind of like the goat fucker.
All right, listen, let's cheer up, Mike. Let's do some Sunday Funnies.
God, we're still doing that?
Oh, my God. Hagar the Horrible, who's walking down a country road with syphilis dripping out of his toga, and Lucky is sitting on a bench with a young woman who's still upright, so I guess they've just sat down. He says, "Would you go out with me?" And she says, "I guess so." Which you gotta read the subtext of what's really happening here. And then she goes, "But if people ask me what I see in you, what shall I tell them?" In other words, it's not really a choice.
Yeah, non-consensual. This guy doesn't need consent.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you see in him? And you're terrified?
You know she doesn't like you, but you're asking her out anyway as if she has to. Here's a better...
How about he's just lucky?
He's lucky. Here's the Lockhorns, who are seemingly unlucky in this marriage. I don't think either one of them
Oh, it's
is that
religious.
happy.
Great. We're going to continue this.
So Leroy's walking into a confessional, and Loretta is online, and she says to the woman behind her, "This may take a while. Leroy didn't come home until 4 a.m.
Lovely. There's a family circus in here?
Yeah, I wanted to throw a little curve at you.
I read it, though. I wish I hadn't read it because I would guess what they're saying. But, Jesus, it's so depressing. This is more depressing than Sinead O'Connor dying. The mom is holding a baby on her shoulder. She has another one in her lap. She has the little shitty yellow-haired kid.
Billy.
Climbing on the
Billy.
arm of the chair. And then the fucking daughter is coming up to her and pointing right at her face. And her pie hole's open. So I think the daughter's talking. And she goes, "Mommy, when you get old, how many grandchildren would you like to have?"
I mean...
By the way, I set that up better because I had already read it. The mom looks very calm and in control.
Well, because she's dead inside. She's on Vicodin, and she's been through this now for how old is the little girl? The oldest? She's 6. She gave up years ago.
Meanwhile, the mom's like, "What are you saying? All right, if you need my morning after pill, it's in the top drawer of the bureau." Like,
Is
what's
this
a
because
weird
your
way-
uncle slept over last night?
Okay,
Uncle
Far
Friendly
Side.
Hands.
I don't know if I've done this one. It seems familiar, but it's one of my favorites. It's a saloon, old-timey saloon. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 or 8 cowboys sitting around. It's a corner, and there are these giant fucking guys with their vests on and their hats, and they're all drinking whiskey. And there's a little guy, and the little guy is pointing, and he looks ornery, and he goes, "Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you." And you see it's the only other little guy sitting with a white hat just minding his own business at the bar. They're surrounded by these monsters.
That sums up humanity right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was going to put a Blondie in this week, but once again, Blondie was all about Dagwood this week. Does anyone give a flying fuck about Dagwood or his shitty boss or the short order cook that has a toothpick in his mouth? No, that's not why we're reading the comic. We're reading it so we can so we can enjoy looking at Blondie.
Exactly.
All right, listen, we got through it. It was a little heavy at the end, but I feel like, you know.
No, you know what? It's all about it's easy not to like Sinead. That's
Yep.
just a fact.
Yep.
But if you can just hear what we're saying and appreciate this artist, and who could be intense at times, but go listen to Gospel Oak, zero intensity in there. And so many of her songs are just pure beauty. And I think she gets, if you don't know a lot of her songs, and see the documentary, and you'll just, I think you'll, even if she's not your cup of tea, it's hard not to respect her.
Yeah. All right. You also have to respect Midcoast Media, who
Yes, you
produces
do.
this podcast every week.
Not easy to hate.
Chris Denman, who is not on this week, he was at a rally against Sinead O'Connor. This is weird.
And I think he's touring with Aldean, Jason Aldean.
Oh,
now.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But we want to thank everybody over there. We want to also remind you guys to support our sponsors. Of course, if you're going to get tickets, you're going to go to Game Time. Game Time is the place to get music, theater, comedy, sports. Download Game Time app today. Get $20 off your first purchase with papers. Also, expressvpn.com/papers is going to get you 3 months free. That should do it. Mike, anything you want to promote?
Good Lord. Just to show you how on the level Game Time is, like they're not like, these are real prices. Taylor Swift is at SoFi Wednesday the 9th. So it's not exactly Game Time yet, but the cheapest ticket there is $602.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I looked at it yesterday. It was like $680. So
It's dropping.
keep an eye on it.
No, I hope I live. If I don't live, it's been an honor
Oh, right.
from my camping. It's been an honor doing this podcast and spending that guy time on the beach yesterday.
Yeah.
What a way to end
And
it.
the tan we both got out of that. You can see it on camera.
Look at us. And, the funny thing is about this camping trip, I'll keep it short, is the guy I'm going with, I almost said his name, is younger than I am. And it's like, I'm being realistic. I probably have, 15 more of these. I mean,
15.
10?
If you're lucky.
No, the assumption is I'm incredibly lucky and I take care of myself. Even then, you can't do this much in your 60s, I don't think.
No, you don't have 10 years left. Enjoy this one.
Okay, thanks.
Into the Wild, Mike Gibbons.
Oh, Jesus, good
All
reference.
right.
Good reference. I think everybody should take it easy.
Take it easy.